קווי מתח.
Chongqing, China, a city known for its dramatic skyline, steep hills, and layered highways, is now facing a very different kind of vertical experience. This time, it's not the architecture going up. It's everything else coming down. After days of intense rainfall, parts of Chongqing have been hit by a combination of flash flooding and landslides, turning streets into fast-moving waterways and sending mud and debris cascading into urban areas. In a city already famous for confusing navigation, where even GPS occasionally gives up, the situation has now escalated to something far more serious. Because when your road system already looks like a 3D maze, turning it into a river is not exactly helpful. Floodwaters surge through multiple districts, quickly overwhelming drainage systems and spilling into streets, tunnels, and lower-level neighborhoods. Vehicles were stranded mid-road, some partially submerged, others simply abandoned as drivers realized that continuing forward was no longer an option. And in Chongqing, where going downhill is already a lifestyle, water doesn't hesitate. It rushes fast, down steep streets, through stairways, across layered roads, turning the city's unique terrain into a network of natural water slides that nobody signed up for. At the same time, the surrounding hillsides, saturated by continuous rain, began to fail. Sections of earth loosened, then gave way, sending mud, rocks, and debris sliding into developed areas below. In some locations, the impact was strong enough to damage walls, block roads, and threaten nearby buildings. This is where the situation shifts from flooding to something more complex. Because when water flows, you can predict it. When the ground moves, you react. And when both happen together, you get a disaster that doesn't follow a script. In residential areas, floodwater entered homes rapidly, filling ground floors and sweeping through interiors. Furniture was displaced, belongings soaked, and entire living spaces turned into muddy, waterlogged zones. Some residents were seen moving items to higher levels, while others stood in ankle-deep water, watching as their homes slowly transformed into something resembling an indoor swimming pool, minus the fun, the chlorine, and definitely the vacation vibe. Local businesses were also hit. Shops, restaurants, and small storefronts found themselves dealing with flooded interiors and damaged goods. In a city known for its vibrant street life and food culture, the sudden quiet in some commercial areas is striking. Where there would normally be noise, movement, and crowds, there is now water, debris, and the sound of wind. And if there's one thing Americans tend to say in moments like this, it's, well, that's going to be expensive. They're not wrong. Beyond the visible damage, the strain on infrastructure is significant. Roads are blocked or submerged. Transport routes are disrupted. Drainage systems are operating beyond capacity. And in a city built on elevation changes, once key routes are cut off, movement becomes increasingly difficult. Emergency response teams have been deployed across affected areas, working to clear debris, pump out water, and assist residents. Heavy equipment is being used to stabilize slopes and reopen access points, while local authorities monitor areas at risk of further landslides. Because even after the rain slows, the danger doesn't immediately disappear. Waterlogged soil remains unstable. Structures may still fail. And floodwater, especially in dense urban areas, can carry contamination risks that extend beyond the initial event. Meanwhile, residents are beginning the long process of cleanup. And if you've ever seen flood recovery footage, you know how this part goes. Buckets, mops, mud everywhere, and that one person standing there looking at the situation like, okay, where do I even start? It's not dramatic. It's not fast, but it's where the real work begins. This event is also raising broader questions about urban resilience, particularly in cities like Chongqing, where geography adds another layer of complexity. Steep terrain, dense development, and extreme rainfall create a combination that can quickly push infrastructure systems beyond their intended limits. Can drainage systems keep up with increasingly intense storms? Are hillside reinforcements strong enough under prolonged saturation? And how do cities adapt when extreme weather events become less rare and more expected? These are not theoretical concerns anymore. As the skies begin to clear over parts of Chongqing, the contrast is almost surreal. Bright daylight returns, the rain slows, and from a distance the city looks intact. But at ground level, the story is very different. Mud lines mark how high the water reached. Debris is piled along sidewalks. Damaged interiors are being cleared out and residents are stepping carefully through what remains, beginning the slow, methodical process of recovery. Because if there's one universal truth, whether you're in China, the US, or anywhere else, it's this. Floods arrive fast. Recovery takes time. And no matter where it happens, the scene is always the same in the end. People standing in the aftermath, trying to put things back together. One step at a time.